Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into the weekly for November the 3rd up until November 9th. This is going to be the reading for Aries. And for those of you who are regulars, you know what we're going to do. We're going to pull out the 3 romance angel messages, followed by your animal spirits, and then the various forecasts for the week. All right? If you're new to my channel, thank you very much for stopping by. We're ramping up to the holiday season, and I'm going to be doing more and more videos. I'll be doing full moon and new moon videos for November and December because of the extraordinary astrological aspects that we have coming into the end of the year, so stay tuned for that. Straight out we have pay attention to red flags, retreat, Aries, time to disconnect from the world, and we have express your love. All right, so time to express your love. For some of you, 3 kind of different messages, right? But we won't really know how they resonate with each other until we pull out the rest of your cards. So let's go ahead and get into the animal spirits for this week. Now, animal spirits, of course, can resonate with people that you're dealing with in terms of their personality traits, the different types of personalities you may be dealing with this week. They can also resonate in terms of energies that may or may not be coming into your life. They can also represent stages or paths in your life that you're about to enter into, okay? So whatever the case may be, just take what applies to you, Aries, and disregard the rest. All right? All right, here we go. Straight out we have cheetah energy. Wow, the cheetah is very, very fiery, very bold. Of course, that's fire energy at the top there, the alchemical symbol for fire. Very strong, very much your energy. Black egg associated with the 5th chakra or the heart chakra. And this is, of course, the alchemical symbol for ether or spirit. And then we have the turtle. Now, the turtle is water spirit animal. And, of course, the turtle really indicates being able to dive deeply into feelings and understand them without being overly affected by them. And we'll get into it. So the cheetah, let's just start off with the cheetah. The cheetah is, of course, fire energy. And it's almost as if the sun emanates from the center of the cheetah. The cheetah personality is so strong and dynamic. This is a person who's going to be accomplishing great feats. They're in awe to watch. They accomplish a lot, right? They always have multiple pots cooking in the kitchen, as it were. They have their fingers in multiple pots. This is a very dynamic, extraordinary person. And this is one of these people that once they set their minds to it, they really achieve it. But one of the things about the cheetah that allows it to really attack its goals so strongly is the ambitious nature of the cheetah and its ability to adapt very, very quickly. The cheetah runs full force at its prey, but if it turns or if there's a, I want to say an adjustment to make or a turn to make, the cheetah adjusts, but he doesn't slow down his momentum. He doesn't slow down his power. And so in this way, the cheetah personality is really someone to behold. They're very awe-inspiring people. And certainly a fire sign, I would say you may be resonating with cheetah energy. And I don't want to say necessarily that they have to be a fire sign, but I'm saying that if you are a fire sign, you're resonating with cheetah, you're really into your own element right now. You're really in your own sort of elemental space. Now, the black egg is associated with the 5th chakra, which is, of course, the throat chakra, and it's associated with blocked communication and the unblocking of that communication, right? The black egg symbolizes kind of the void that we can experience when our communicative chakra, our throat chakra, is not open. If it's not open and not connected to our heart, we find ourselves unable to communicate. and unable to sort of express ourselves. And it can, the black egg signifies sort of almost that, I want to say that the blockage, right? It's a dark blockage. It's a negative blockage. It leads to negative psychic feelings, not being able to communicate. And it leads to darkness, as it were, just as you see with this black egg. The fourth chakra, which is associated with the golden egg, right? Because, of course, to open up the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, we need warmth. Well, the blockage in communication is very much seen as sort of a black hole, as it were, something that festers, something only that gets worse. And, of course, the black egg comes into our life at a time when we need to learn to communicate. Open our mouths, communicate our feelings, and connect that communication to our heart so we can truly express what we feel. Now, the turtle is a water energy element, and a turtle has this amazing ability to be able to experience very deep, deep emotions without being swept away by them. The turtle is very grounded in that way, but turtles also live in the water. They swim in the water. Now, so, you know, in this way, the turtle's hard shell kind of protects itself from the worst of these deeper, deeper emotions, darker sides to life. And in a lot of ways, the turtle is associated with the great storytellers, right? Writers, storytellers, journalists, people who need to be able to communicate the intensity of a story or a narrative effectively, right? Without being personally swept up by it or consumed by it or their psyche being overwrought. And so a lot of great storytellers and certainly journalists, people who travel and collect stories or write about difficult things, these individuals will be associated with the turtle. Their ability to sort of empathize, I want to say. They have a great ability to empathize, yet to stay grounded while they're empathizing, while they're being with you in the moment. All right, guys, so these are your energies. You may, of course, be resonating with someone who is displaying turtle sort of characteristics. You may be resonating with the cheetah, and the black egg may be coming in this week, certainly because of communication that needs to happen. Especially when you do have express your love, and that could very much be connected to the black egg energies. Now, Aries, let's go ahead and pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 scenarios for you this week. These are going to be 3-card scenarios just to see what you may or may not be resonating with this week, what scenarios you may be in, what events may be coming in. And these forecasts don't necessarily have to be connected to each other or to the same Aries. So you may resonate with one forecast, more than one, or none at all, and that's fine too. Just take what applies to you and disregard the rest. All right, let's go. We have straight out 5 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, and the Emperor. So you start off the week with a 5 of Pentacles, right? And so you're feeling really like a 5 of Pentacles indicates a power struggle with a group, someone that you've been friends with, you've been close to, right? You've shared the same sort of mentality, same mindset, but there's been a falling out or there's been some kind of power struggle and you've been ostracized or alienated, or there's been a separation from you in the group. You guys are no longer talking or communicating, right? But you're also having to pay the price financially as a result of this rift. And so either this has most recently happened for you, Aries, or it's coming in for you. In some of the recent readings in the last few weeks, 5 of Pentacles is showing up again. Oftentimes this happens when it needs to happen. It could be that you were in a situation that was very stagnant, that was stifling your growth, and this kind of power struggle had to happen to kind of force you out of the situation. Nevertheless, it is a struggle. It is difficult, and you're kind of coming into the week, if this has just most recently happened, really trying to get back on your feet. The energy that's meeting you this week is a 2 of Wands, and so this is Mars in Aries energy. And so for some of you, I'm going to say this may have happened recently, but this week you really the energy to move forward comes in. I almost want to say this is very cheetah energy. The desire to like get up, move forward, carry on with your objective and your vision for the world, right, comes right in for you. Could very well be that fortune begins to favor you and favor you going down your path. Again, like I said, oftentimes 5 of Pentacles happens because there needs to be a shakeup, right? And what happens, of course, this week, the shakeup really does propel you forward. Excuse me. And what is the outcome? You show up in your own reading, Aries. This is, of course, Emperor energy is associated with Aries, and you end off the week back in charge, back in authority, very quickly having gotten back on your feet after this power struggle. I'm going to say for some of you, this is going to be a really good week of getting back into your groove. Certainly when you end up the week in your own, showing up in your reading as the Emperor, your authority is reestablished. You've regained control of your life. Whatever you thought you lost here, you've reestablished and then some. Could very well be, like I said, that this situation has really kept you from your true path. And now that the worst of it is over and you kind of really resonated with cheetah energy, I want to say, and really kind of motivated yourself to move forward, it's like you take a quantum leap forward and you certainly come back to the helm of your ship, the leadership position. 9 of Swords, star energy, and a Page of Cups. So some of you start this week off with a lot of regret and anxiety about a past situation. You feel like, man, I really messed up with that. I'm going to say for some of you, it could very well be that this was a past love situation that fell apart, the communication fell apart, and you come in this week with an energy of, reminiscing, regretting, feeling bad about it, having some anxiety about it, because 9 of Swords is oftentimes anxiety that we put on ourselves, but worrying about things that we've done or things that have happened in the past, traumas that we've been through that may come back into our lives. But there's also this air of feeling guilty over what you may or may not have done in the past in a particular scenario, right? And so 9 of Swords is a kind of anxious, slightly guilty, up at night feeling, right? Like, what have I done? Regrettable. However, you come into the week feeling like this, but you are met with star energy, and it's very much like you're given a second chance, Aries. For some of you, if you do feel like, if you do feel like there was a certain scenario, a lover scenario, and I want to say it is a lover scenario because we have a Page of Cups coming out, but I want to say for some of you, if you feel like perhaps you may have not acted the way you wanted to act, or you have some guilt about the way a particular scenario turned out, this week you get your ultimate wish. You get your wish to revisit it. You get your wish to try again. Star comes in. It could very well be that a lot of you have really worked on yourselves and your environment, everything, all the other things in your life most recently, yet this one area still vexes you and bothers you. And again, this one area is the area that you kind of get a second chance in. And it ends off, your week kind of ends up with a chance to express a token of love. Right? For some of you, this could be an ex coming back, or you going back to someone that you broke up with before that you miss, or that you want to give your cup of love to. This could be vice versa also, Aries, in a sense that somebody could be coming back to you. Somebody could have really hurt you, or there could have been some miscommunication. You guys had a falling out, and your wish is for them to come back in, and they certainly do. Either or, this is a case of reconciling, I think. Not even so much reconciling, because it could very well be, and I want to say for some of you, this wasn't necessarily a relationship that you guys broke up, but I think it was more like a relationship that didn't get going where it should have gotten going because of actions or miscommunication or what have you, right? Things just, two ships in the night, or things just not being aligned. And more than a reconciliation, this is more like a second chance. This feels much more like a second chance to get a particular love situation going that you couldn't get going or wasn't able to get going before. 3 of Cups, Sun, and 8 of Swords. So some of you are really being forced this week to kind of be very patient with a particular project or endeavor. Okay, you really want to move forward, full steam ahead, but you're having to wait. You're being forced to wait. I'm going to say this is a case of pay attention to red flags. 3 of Wands talks about taking a look of the, taking a bit of a, what do they say? Looking at the lay of the land before you make your next move. Being patient, being forced to be patient, right? To wait. Being virtuous in a sense of maintaining your position even though you are kind of at a halt or at a pause right now. And the sun comes in this week very much, I think, to bring about some clarity. For some of you, you're being kind of stopped in a particular endeavor because there's some information that you need that needs to come in, that needs to be made clear, because the sun brings rewards. It definitely brings rewards. It brings a feeling of life favoring you and really life shining its blessings on you, but it also brings clarity in situations where there hasn't been any. And clarity for the positive, but clarity nonetheless. And you find out that there is some toxic energy somewhere. I think the clarity that it brings in is shines the light on an area where red flags are showing, right? 8 of Swords is very kind of victim energy. It's very alienating energy. It's individuals who are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions. It's very toxic. It can be I call it my gaslighter card. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to say for some of you Aries, this 3 of Wands pause is pausing a scenario, a relationship, or a connection with someone that proves to be quite toxic. And had it not been for you waiting this week, you might have gone headlong into something that was not necessarily what you thought it was. But being forced to wait, and with that sun and that clarity coming in, and when I say sun and clarity, there may be events that happen, meetings, conversations, things this person says, whatever the scenario is, things develop this week. They give you pause for thought. And I think for a lot of you, you are not going to be regretting the fact that you were forced to wait, because you're going to find out something about a connection that you really need to know. 4 of Wands, Page of Swords, and the Hanged Man. So some of you entered this week either with a love connection that you're desiring to take to the next level, right? Or a connection that you have just made with someone, right? You've just either run into someone and it's like love at first sight. It almost feels like a soulmate connection if you're not already together, and it's the beginning of something. It feels like that. And so I want to say this week you kind of want to have a conversation, right? Page of Swords comes in, and this really talks about for some of you Aries, this is a real soulmate connection. You really want stability in this connection, but this Page of Swords comes in the sense of let's have a conversation. Somebody wants to have a conversation with you. Somebody wants to talk to you, and it's going to end up in kind of a pause. Again, it's going to end up in another pause. Hangman energy talks about things not really going smoothly, not progressing forward. Somebody not really, a scenario where either one or both people are unwilling to budge or to, I want to say, to compromise, right? This is a potentially good connection, but some conversation that you have in relation to this connection kind of leads you guys to a stalemate, right? Neither one of you want to compromise. I'm going to say this innocent side of this conversation may even turn into a bit of an argument. It could very well be that the conversation, the communication itself is very negative and not honest. Remember, the black egg comes in to remind us to be honest in our communication and to really connect our heart with our throat chakra, our communication center. And so this talk or this meeting that you have with this person, if either or both of you are unwilling to really be honest, to really express your love the right way or express your true feelings, there will be a stalemate here with this Hanged Man. And it may just be that this relationship does not go forward as planned. This is going to be the last spread. The Moon, High Priestess, and 7 of Cups. So some of you, again, entered this week with a feeling of not really knowing what's going on in a particular dynamic, Aries. You're feeling a little hesitant and anxious. I'm going to say for some of you, there is a scenario that you probably started most recently, either a relationship, a living environment, some kind of opportunity, right? That you thought was really going to be a great opportunity, but you entered this week really realizing that things aren't as they seem. People haven't been quite as honest as they say about a particular area or about this particular, I'm going to say, opportunity or path or even relationship. And you begin to feel, with this moon energy, you really begin to feel like what people are saying and the feeling you're getting from them is not jiving, right? You're starting to get mixed messages. But what you meet with is the High Priestess. And you start, as you go further into the week, your intuitive voice begins to speak up a lot more, Aries, and you kind of begin to figure out what's really going on here. And I think some of you end up the week realizing that this opportunity that you thought was going to be really, really good really is nothing. You're going to find out either that somebody has not been completely honest, that there are definitely red flags you need to pay attention to, but you find out that this whole scenario was very much a Seven of Cups. And Seven of Cups just talks about kind of not so much delusional thinking, but I don't think it was so much that you were delusional. I think you were sold something that turns out not to be what it was. And your gut is what, is what wakes you up to it, right? You start off doubting things. You start off kind of like, oh, things aren't right, but it gets stronger and stronger with this High Priestess. And you just very much realize by the end of the week that, whatever this, and I'm going to say, for instance, say somebody said, oh, you can move in with us, right? You can move in, be my roommate. It's going to be this great house, wonderful, wonderful, cheap, blah, blah, blah. But then suddenly this week, everything kind of goes weird. The person isn't really talking to you about it anymore, or things suddenly change, and your intuitive ability comes in and you realize that it was all like BS. That, it was never going to be what it was sold to you as, right? So for some of you, this is going to happen, but it's going to happen in an area that was really important to you, right? In an area that really meant a lot. And I think that you will ultimately feel like it was for the best. Because once again, if you don't pay attention to the red flags and communicate properly, things could be so much worse, right? So this is very much a saving yourself before you step off the cliff scenario. And certainly December promises to bring in a lot of good fortune, a lot of abundance for everyone, really across the board, with the Jupiter aspect and the Uranus aspect. So once again, this is really a case of this week, you saving yourself from getting into a effed up toxic situation for a much better situation later. All right, Aries, this is your weekly for November 3rd to the 9th. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share. You can go ahead into the description and see the other links to the other Aries readings or fire sign readings, monthly readings, etc., or schedule a private reading. But for right now, Aries, thank you so much for stopping by and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye now.